I'm going to start with a bit of my story. So I'd had a 20-year career in some of the largest organisations in the world, and the last 10 of those I'd spent working with leaders and boards to drive change across the public and private sector. And the thing is, I'd always loved working. I really, really loved going to work. And my first ever job was actually organising children's parties. I was 9. So I'd always worked, and I was fiercely ambitious. And through my 20s, you could say that I worked really flexibly, in that I worked all the time. Evenings, weekends, holidays, you name it, I worked. So by the time I got to my early 30s, I had pretty much hit all of my kind of professional goals. And then you guessed it, I met a man, and I fell in love, and things started to change. And over a period of 3 years, there was a lot of change in my life. So I married a military officer. We welcomed our first child into the world, swiftly followed by our second, and we moved to Devon, which is beautiful, but about 1 million miles from anywhere. So I was one of 10 directors in my firm. I was the only one who had preschool children. And suddenly my 24 hours seemed to look really different to the people I was sat next to. So yeah, I was absolutely still the person that led on large, complex national programmes, but my evenings were no longer my own. If the children were sick, I couldn't work, and I couldn't change my schedule at short notice. But I was given a lot of support and encouragement that I could continue to progress. And actually, by the time our second child arrived, I was back at work by the time he was 3 months old. I was there 1 day a week. And then one cool September morning, I got a phone call that changed everything. And my boss called to tell me that there was going to be a lot of change at work. And most importantly, they were no longer going to be able to give me the flexibility that I needed. You have to know when it's time to go, and it was time for me to go. So I took the voluntary redundancy. I spent longer than I planned with the kids because neither of them slept. And then I started to think about what next. And in terms of what next, what I was looking for was an organisation that would let me do the work I loved and give me the confidence that I could have the flexibility that I needed. And I just couldn't find it. So if I couldn't find it, I was going to have to build it. And that's what we've done at From Another. We have normalised flexibility.